So before the direct, there was definitely some talk about Fire Emblem characters and how there's too many, and there was also some talk about it after the direct, like, oh boy, another Fire Emblem character with a sword. And there's a lot of people who, I think the majority of people are happy about Chrom. I think people who played Smash 4 at least know who he is. They know that it's Lucina's father, and they know that like Chrom was a requested character, and I think they're like, oh, I don't play these games, but I'm happy to see this guy. I think most people are like fine with Chrom. Like if you're gonna put in any Fire Emblem character, Chrom is a good choice. Though I know Alpha Lad wants he wants Lyn, and I don't see why they can't do Lyn. Honestly, I think Lyn would be fine, but whatever. They're doing Chrom, and I like Chrom a lot. I like Fire Emblem Awakening. It's my favorite Fire Emblem game. And so to me, this is good news. Any representation from Awakening is good to me, but also just Chrom, it's weird that Chrom wasn't in Smash 4 because he is so iconic. He's really become the face of Fire Emblem. Marth was the face of Fire Emblem, but Marth was the face of Fire Emblem because of Smash. Chrom is the face of Fire Emblem because of Fire Emblem. And that's the difference. And it's not to say that Marth's original Fire Emblem game, which is the original Fire Emblem game, is a bad game. That's definitely not the case. In fact, the old Fire Emblem games are kind of very technically impressive. Each Fire Emblem game is impressive. They always are. And Awakening was the one that saved the franchise and kind of brought it all back. So it makes sense why there's three characters from Awakening, because Awakening is a huge deal. Honestly, I think putting Corrin in might have even been jumping the gun, because Corrin and Fates, like, no one really cares about Fire Emblem Fates anymore, and I personally didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I enjoyed Awakening. But I'm glad Corrin is in the game, because Corrin is the most unique of the Fire Emblem characters, right alongside Robin. And some people always like making jokes about how there's all these sword users, and it's like, well, they've been kind of breaking away from that, but I think the biggest issue, because people kind of just lump Robin and Corrin in with everyone, because they're like, why is there so many characters from Fire Emblem? And I think if you aren't paying attention and you blinked and you missed it, you could look at the cast of Fire Emblem characters in Smash and say, there's too many. And I think that everyone should slow down, slow the roll a little bit, and realize that a lot of these Fire Emblem characters just got introduced to the game not that long ago. I mean, of course, Corrin was one of the last editions of DLC. He came out the same day as Bayonetta. That was the last two DLC added to Smash 4, right? And that was because he was the perfect character to advertise the new game without being just like one character. And I know some people are thinking like they wanted King K. Rool or Ridley to be added in the Smash 4 ballot, and Sakurai was just not about that, because that would be just one of those characters and it would not make sense to put in just like one random villain from a past game. He wanted to put in someone big, and I think he was looking more at like a third party angle, and I think that's why Bayonetta got in, because I think he was actually going for more of a third party character for that. And Corrin was added in to be a character to advertise a new game. So when also keep in mind that Sakurai knew this whole time when the Smash Ballot came out, he knew in his mind that he was going to make a game for the Switch. Sakurai had been planning to make Smash Ultimate since like before Bayonetta came out, so like keep in mind that he knew, and he probably had a good idea that he was going to put Ridley and King K. Rool in Smash Ultimate already. He probably already had that intention, and that's same with Inkling. And people didn't want Inkling. People wanted Inkling, and it's like put in Inkling. That would be a good way to advertise a new game. Like advertise Splatoon. Why would you put in a game? Why would you try to advertise a game like Fire Emblem? And it's like, well, Fire Emblem Fates wasn't out yet. Splatoon was already out and already doing well. But either way, yeah, of course Inkling was going to be in Smash Ultimate. Of course, if they were going to do a sequel, and I even thought that at the time. I even thought at the time, like, oh, if they do a sequel, they'll probably put in Inkling and maybe a few other like retro characters that people have been wanting. I did not expect Ridley, K. Rool, and possibly Gino. Those are not characters I expect, and now I expect them. Well, now we already got Ridley and K. Rool. I was very anticipating K. Rool after Ridley came out, but Gino is someone I'm pretty fucking certain is going to happen. So, but I didn't expect that back then. I just expected Inkling and maybe a few other old guys or something like that, like Bandana D or something. But what we're getting now with Smash is we're getting a lot of people who are not happy about the amount of Fire Emblem characters, and this is before Chrom, and I don't even think Chrom is that big a deal. I don't think people are even that upset about Chrom. I think people are trying to make jokes about, oh, another Fire Emblem Sword character, and I don't think they're that funny, and I don't think people are really catching on with it. I don't think people are making memes about Chrom that much, because I think most people are like, nah, I'm okay with this, because he's just an Echo. He's not. It's hard to get mad at an Echo because first of all, you can turn them off. You can make it to where they're not on the character select screen at all, and they just appear on the character they're a clone of, making them basically a glorified alt costume. You know, you can actually do that. You can actually make it to where the characters don't appear on the character select screen. So if you don't like an Echo, and that's the thing, there's 7 Fire Emblem characters, but if you do that, 2 of those Fire Emblem characters are Echoes. It cuts it down to 5 characters, which is just as much as Zelda has. You know, Zelda has 5 representatives in this game. Or no, Zelda had 5 reps in Smash 4. Zelda has 6 reps in this game because they added Young Link back. I keep forgetting about that. So, yeah, they actually have 6 characters from Zelda and 5 characters from Fire Emblem. But 2 of them are Echoes. So, guys, there are actually more original Zelda characters than there are Fire Emblem characters, okay? And I know what you guys might be saying, oh, but Toon Link and Young Link don't count. Well, Roy counts as not an Echo, and he's basically... he started out as an Echo, and he's kind of become more of like a Falco Fox relationship style character that people have been referring to as semi-clones. So I not yes, Link has semi-clones, so does Marth. Like at the end of the day, though, there's more Zelda characters than Fire Emblem characters if you don't count the Echoes, right? So, and I think that's a big important distinction to make. So. And yes, I know that Sheik is also Zelda, but they play 100% different. So you might as well just say it's a completely unique character. Like to say they're the same character is like, no, I understand why they did that back in Melee, but I'm more happy with the decision they're doing now and trying to make Zelda buff. They're trying to buff Zelda so that way she doesn't need to just switch to Sheik, because there's basically no point in playing as Zelda in Melee. You just pick Sheik. So that was the fucking problem. So they're fixing Zelda now, and that's good. But anyway, let's talk about now the history of Fire Emblem being in Smash. And I'm sure most of you already know this, but it's important to know because, yes, if you just blinked and you looked at the roster right now, you would say, why is there so many fucking Fire Emblem characters? Well, there's a reason for it. You see, back in the day, there was 2 Fire Emblem characters. In Melee... Marth almost didn't make it in because Sakurai was afraid that people wouldn't know in America who he is. So basically, Sakurai said, well, we'll just try to explain to people in the West that Marth is from a Japanese-only game, and he's cool. And Marth is a top-tier character, man. Marth is a character that people really play in Melee. He's very good. And it kind of made people like Marth, and made Marth a household name, was the fact that Marth was such a good character. So yeah, Smash Melee did a huge boost of popularity for Fire Emblem in America and in the West in general, just thanks to having him in the game. And then we can talk about Roy. Now Roy, the point of Roy was Marth is the original main character from Fire Emblem. Roy is like, he was the newest character at the time. In fact, I think his game wasn't even out yet when they decided to put him in. It wasn't even out in Japan by the time Melee came out. And so Melee had a few clone characters. So Sakurai said, fuck it, I'll just make a clone for Marth as well. So there's 2 characters from Fire Emblem. Again, before there was 2 characters from Donkey Kong, before there's 2 characters from Metroid, there is 2 characters from Fire Emblem. There's only 1 character from Donkey Kong and Metroid in Melee, but 2 characters from Fire Emblem in Melee, and it's Marth's first game. So, yeah, clearly there's some favoritism there. Clearly Sakurai enjoys Fire Emblem more than those other 2 franchises. I don't think that should be, like, it's not the worst thing. It's not the biggest deal, but especially because it's not that much more. Now, Brawl comes around, and this time Donkey Kong and Metroid get a second rep with Diddy Kong and Zero Suit Samus. So those games now have 2 characters per franchise, and I think that's perfectly fine. I do count Zero Samus as her own character, even if you have to do a final smash to change into her. You can still start the match as her if you choose to, and it plays completely unique. So To me, she's just a second character. And I'm glad in Smash 4 that they gave her own character slot. That's the way it should have been. Um, Either way, so they had 2 reps from those games now, and Fire Emblem only had 2 reps because they didn't bring Roy back. They replaced Roy with Ike because in Brawl they took a lot of the clone characters and turned them into semi-clones. This is where semi-clones first started popping up. Falco was changed a lot to be more unique. Ganondorf was changed more to be more unique. Mewtwo was gone and Lucario was in, which was weird because Lucario is like a semi-clone of Mewtwo, and they play so differently from each other that it's like, why didn't you just bring Mewtwo as well? But I guess it's because they didn't want to have too many Pokemon characters, but they also cut Pichu. It is weird, but I think it's because they added in the Pokemon Trainer, and that's basically 3 characters wrapped into one. Even Smash Ultimate is counting them. When it counts the numbers, they're like 3 different numbers, even though it's all Pokemon Trainer. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of why they decided to cut 2 of the Pokemon characters. And plus because they were trying to cut down on clones back in Brawl. And even when they added in Wolf, but Wolf is also like Ike and like Lucario, where they're a lot different from what they originally were supposed to be. Ike is not a Marth clone. Ike is, people will say he's a semi-clone, and I'm like, he has a counter move, and his B move's a charge, but that's about it. I mean, if you're trying to tell me, well, they both have upward attacks for their up Bs, every character in the game has an upward attack for their up B. If you're trying to tell me that forward B, there's no similarities between the forward Bs with Marth and Ike. There's just none. And then, of course, yes, they both have counters. That's become kind of this weird thing in Smash, especially in Smash 4, where a lot of characters have counters. But the thing is, in Fire Emblem, counters actually make sense, because in the Fire Emblem games, when you get attacked, sometimes your party member who gets attacked will attack automatically back. And in fact, it happens a lot. They counter in Fire Emblem a lot. So giving Ike a counter, it just makes sense because it's Fire Emblem. So you could call him a semi-clone all you want. To me, he has none of the same moves as Marth besides the counter and the fact that they both have a charge B attack. So I say he's the if I agree, like, yes, he does have his roots in the Fire Emblem archetype character, but he is the least semi-clone of all the semi-clones in the game. And so I think people really like Ike. I really like Ike. Ike's just great. So there's no what's the issue? There's no issue with Ike. And the thing is that there was still in Brawl, there was only 2 Fire Emblem reps. There wasn't more Fire Emblem characters. They did add Lyn in as an assist trophy, but if you want to talk about assist trophies, just look at Metroid. It got the Metroid and the Mother Brain, so it got 2 assist trophies. And Dark Samus as well was an assist trophy. So, like, yes, Metroid had assist trophies like crazy because they didn't really know how to make any of those playable characters. People wanted more characters from Metroid, but Sakurai didn't know what to do. He made Ridley a boss in the story mode, and then he made Ridley a boss on a stage in Smash 4, and he made Kraid in the background in Melee, but like he didn't know what to do with all these Metroid characters. He didn't know how they could work as playable fighters because so many of them aren't humanoid. So, and then Dark Samus would have just been a clone, and he didn't want to do that. So he didn't really know what to do, So there was only 2 characters from Metroid, and I think it was fine at the time. I'm definitely glad what they're doing right now. I think what they're doing right now is great. They also, so then in Smash 4 happens, right? Smash 4, before they revealed Chrom, they did a screenshot eventually revealing that Ike's returning. For Smash 4, they would always do like picture of the day stuff, and every so often they would just reveal that a character's coming back. And that was important because we didn't know who was getting cut and who wasn't getting cut. It's not like when Smash Ultimate was revealed, they just straight up said, everyone is here. Smash 4 wasn't like that. Smash 4 was nerve-wracking. Like, when I saw Diddy Kong, I was like, yes, Diddy Kong! And I remember thinking, like, why would they ever cut Diddy Kong? Like, they're not going to cut Diddy Kong. But just seeing him was like, okay, good, thank God. But, like, for a while, we were all just like, oh man, are they going to cut Sonic? Like, they added Mega Man, are they going to cut Sonic? And then one day, just for nothing special, no direct, there's like, oh, Sonic's in the game too. And it's like, yes, Sonic and Mega Man in the same game. But like, of course they weren't going to cut Sonic, but it's just like, we were kind of walking on eggshells at that time. They didn't explicitly say who was all going back. And then by the end of it, when Lucas was cut and Wolf was cut, it was like, oh no. And then Ice Climbers were cut as well. And it was like, it was kind of sad. It was kind of like, nervous. We didn't know who was all coming back at first. Um, and that's definitely the best part of Smash Ultimate, is that we know right from the start that we don't have to worry about characters being fucking cut. Because I would have been worried so hard, just so hard. And I think before this came out, one of the biggest discussions was like, is Greninja coming back? Is Lucina coming back? Is Cloud coming back? Is Ryu coming back? We were all just like so like nervous, so nervous. And now we know that everyone's back. It's great. Anyway, Smash 4 is happening. They say Ike is coming back, and I'm just like so peculiar, because I remember when, before the game even was announced, people like Kotaku made an article. This is back before I hated Kotaku, so I actually liked reading their content. And one of the first things they talked about Smash was like, our first character prediction for the new Smash will be Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening. They're like, they always add in a new Fire Emblem character, so a new Fire Emblem character is like the most sure bet, and he's the next main character. He's a Lord character, and he's very popular. So it's probably going to happen. Chrom was like the first pick, and when they announced Ike, I was like, "Whoa, are they gonna do Marth, Ike, and Chrom?" I'm like, because I was thinking Chrom would probably play similar to Ike with like one other move changed or something like that, and that's kind of how he plays in in Smash Ultimate already, but because he has Ike's up B attack. And I was thinking like, what is this? Like, and instead of putting Chrom, they did Robin, which made me so happy. And they announced Lucina the same day. And it was very confusing, because I was like, there's two Fire Emblem characters, and I couldn't tell from the video that Lucina was playing identical to Marth. Because I was like, well, I need to see the more intricate details of this character. And someone eventually pointed out that she is in fact a clone. And other people said, yes, I think Sakurai eventually confirmed, like, plays identical to Marth because she pretended to be Marth. And then it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I was happy there was more Fire Emblem characters, because I really liked Awakening, and I really wanted characters from Awakening. Robin, it was a great choice because he plays unique, and he's still one of the main protagonists. Chrom is the main protagonist, but he's not the main protagonist. Chrom and Robin are kind of like a dual main protagonist scenario going on. Tacticians are normally in Fire Emblem, but Robin was like a tactician that really the story was based around him, versus the tactician is normally like your insert character, where you're just like helping the team fight. You're just like a part of their journey, because it's all about like royalty and stuff. But in this one, like, Robin's role in Fire Emblem Awakening was very involved. The story is actually very much so centered around him. So that was actually a really good call to put Robin in. And then they put in Lucina, and Lucina's great. I love Lucina in Awakening. She's, that was a dream come true. That's someone I never would have expected. And I think people weren't upset, because while Robin has a sword, Robin is a spell user. In Fire Emblem, Robin fights mostly with spells. Unless you purposely make him fight with a sword instead, you're probably going to end up using spells. Mainly because the spells have long range. Spells are really... Bow and arrow in Fire Emblem can only hit a space away from you. Spells can hit a space right in front of you and a space away from you. So they're very good. And they beat a lot of things that swords can't fight up against very well. So if you're going to use other sword users, it makes sense to just make Robin your magic user. So... and I mean, you could have multiple magic users, but Robin is a very strong magic user. So they definitely put that in as part of his, character set. His moveset in Awakening, or in Smash, is very much so. It's like all these really cool spells from Awakening, plus they give him the Levin sword, which is a really nice touch. So yeah, Robin is a great fucking character, and I think people were fine with it, because he didn't play anything like a Fire Emblem character. He played like... He had like the fire move that Ness has. he has the he has like a charge projectile like Samus has. His up B is nothing like a normal recovery from like Marth or Ike, and his down B drains health. He is a completely unique Fire Emblem character That the only thing is similar is that both their B attacks are charge attacks. But Robin, for the most part, is a completely unique character, and his swords and tome books break over time, making him super unique. He's definitely the only character in the entire game who has to worry about something like that. So he's an extremely unique character. No one was mad. People might have been mad about Dark Pit and Lucina, but most people just complained about Dark Pit because Lucina actually did play somewhat differently from Marth. It was a slight difference, but they're like, at least she's not a 100% straight up aesthetic costume. At least she actually has something different about her. Most people were fine with Lucina just being a clone in the game. Most people didn't care. I remember the first time someone made the argument, hey, clone characters don't take that much development time. They don't take away from any other character getting in the game. If a character was going to get in the game, they would be in the game. The clone character has nothing to do with your favorite character not being in the game. And it made me, right when I first heard that, I went from being like, I don't want clones are stupid, to being like, there's only 3, it's fine. Like, there's only 3, it's not a big deal. I'm happy about Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario was the one I was most happy with. I was very happy about Lucina. I'd rather play as Lucina than Marth anyway, because I actually like the game Lucina's from. I've never played the original Fire Emblem. And when it comes to Dark Pit, whatever. Like I think I end up just liking Pit more anyway. But Dark Pit doesn't bother me. Clones don't bother me, especially after hearing that argument. And that's kind of the idea with the Echo Fighters is Sakurai straight up being like, yeah, it's either I make them clones or these characters don't get in the game. And everyone's like, I just want Dark Samus. I just want Daisy. Like, people just want they don't care. Like, if this is the only way they can have these characters, then they don't care. So, people weren't mad at first about the Fire Emblem characters. Yes, there were more Fire Emblem characters than Metroid and Donkey Kong characters at this point. In fact, there was even more than Kirby characters or Kid Icarus characters. You know, so it's like even Sakurai was picking Fire Emblem over his franchises. But over the big boys, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, no. Fire Emblem did not have more characters than the big boys, okay? But then something happened. They got a 5th Fire Emblem character in the form of Roy from Melee. No one really expected Roy to come back, but Roy was kind of changed up. Roy was basically an Echo in Melee, but he was changed up to being a semi-clone, just like how Falco was changed up to being more like a semi-clone in Brawl. Roy was changed to be more like a semi-clone in Smash 4. And that's DLC, and it's a returning character from Melee, right? Like, he was in Melee, so now it's like Roy was forever in a Smash game. Therefore, if he wasn't brought back in Smash 4, and he was highly requested to come back, may I remind you guys, he was very highly requested to come back. On the Smash ballot, he's in the top 5. Like, he's so fucking high. He beats Snake on the Smash ballot, for crying out loud, okay? People wanted Roy to come back. However, of course, this is the Source Gaming Smash ballot we're talking about here. However, Roy... so Roy was a DLC, and people are like, I'm not that excited, because it's like, if I wanted to play as Marth, I'd play as Marth. Or if I wanted to play as Marth, I'd also pick Lucina. And so it was like there's 3 versions of Marth in the game. So it was like, what? What's the point? Though when I actually played as Roy now, Roy in Smash 4 plays so different from how he played in Melee. I mean, I already said this, but it's like, it really does go to show, like, the changes were really cool. I'm really happy with what they did with Roy. So, yeah, Roy is great. And if they didn't put Roy in Smash 4, then if he was put in Smash Ultimate, and he was just straight up another Echo Fighter of Marth, it would have been really fucking weird to have 2 Echoes of Marth. So I'm glad they made him more of a semi-clone. Because all the other... Oh no! Dr. Mario isn't a Echo Fighter anymore. Dr. Mario is more of a semi-clone now. So that's good. So yeah, maybe there would have been hope for Roy in Smash Ultimate to be changed. But either way, he's a semi-clone now, and I'm fine with it. Most people were fine with that at the time because he was a returning Melee character. I think the straw that broke the camel's back was during Smash 4 when they did the Smash 4 ballot, and they said we have 3 new DLC characters. The first one was Cloud, and everyone was like, okay. Then the second one was Corrin, the third one was Bayonetta. And the trend that people noticed was like these characters are anime bullshit characters. They're husbando waifu bullshit characters. They all have swords, even though Bayonetta doesn't have a sword. She fights with guns, so she's But Cloud has a sword, and Corrin had a sword, and Corrin was another Fire Emblem character, and that means there's two DLC characters that are both from Fire Emblem, and people are saying there's too much Fire Emblem. There's just too much. It was fine until Corrin came out. What really bugged me was that there was a lot of negativity right when Corrin and Bayonetta were announced, and I was so excited and happy because I never expected Bayonetta. I remember when Smash 4 was first coming out and people said Bayonetta would be in the base roster, and I was like, you guys are fucking crazy if you think Bayonetta is going to be in the game. Just because Bayonetta 2 is going to be on Wii U, you think Bayonetta is going to be in the fucking game? You guys are fucking nuts. And then Bayonetta 2 actually came out after Smash, and I played Bayonetta 2 and realized it's amazing. It's way better than the first Bayonetta, and it made me really love Bayonetta. And then when Bayonetta was added in Smash as DLC later, I never expected that to happen in a million years. So it was I was like, I can't believe they're making this dream come true for all the Bayonetta fans. Like, how fucking cool is it? So even though like at first I didn't want it, like once I saw it, I was like, this is so cool. Like, aren't you guys excited? And they were like, Bayonetta's fine, but Corrin and Cloud are bullshit. And I was like, they're not bullshit. Like, and people were like, they're two more sword characters. We don't need any more sword characters. And I remember thinking like, Cloud plays nothing like any other sword character in the game. He has a beam projectile move. What? There is no sword character with a long like, yes, Link has the bow and arrow and the boomerang, but they're not like how Blade Beam works. Like, Blade Beam is completely its own thing. Not to mention Cloud has his limit style attack. Like, Cloud is so unique, and he has like a lot of kicks. The way he swings his sword is not like how anyone else uses his sword. Cloud is just not. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. It's like complaining if someone punches someone. You're like, oh, another guy who punches. Like, what are you talking about? Like, characters are going to use weapons and fight, but like the thing is that fighting is just the weapons are just tools for the character's moveset. Like, Mario has fireballs. That's just a tool for his moveset, you know? Samus has a gun. That's a tool for her moveset. It has, Ness can use magic. It doesn't mean anything, you know? It's just ways to attack people. So it doesn't matter if someone has a sword. It literally makes no difference in a character's archetype or fighting style if they have a weapon or not. It just doesn't make a difference. You know, Simon and Richter have whips. No one's gonna complain that they have whips and like, oh, there's whip characters. Like, no one's gonna complain that they have fucking whips. Okay, but they should, because fucking Simon's whip is so long. You think Cloud's sword is long range? Oh, wait till you have to deal with fucking Simon, dude. Like, I don't think people realize what they're saying. I think people are really stupid when it comes to complaining about sword users. But Corrin is a whole different argument than just a sword user, because Corrin is a Fire Emblem character. And I remember thinking, Corrin looks so unique. Corrin looks so different. Corrin has a fucking Samus-style projectile charge attack like the other Fire Emblem characters, but it's actually like a fucking ball of energy that stuns you. And if you do it up close, it has a second up follow-up attack. Corrin has all these moves where he turns to a fucking dragon. Like, Corrin looks so unique. Like, Corrin is perfect to be in Smash. Corrin is if Corrin wasn't added in as DLC, then I would say Corrin would have been added in as a fucking character in Smash Ultimate. Like, Corrin was the best character they could have possibly have put in for that position in Smash 4. They wanted to advertise a new character, and at that time, Corrin was by far not even close to any other character. He was the best choice for the idea of advertising a character at the time. Okay? Especially because throwing in a newcomer like Inkling, who's from a brand new franchise, that makes way more sense to do for a future game. And I think people were upset because they thought, why would Inkling not be put in? Why would King K. Rool and Ridley not be put in? If they're like, and that's because I was thinking, well, they would make more sense for the next Smash game, and they were probably thinking they don't want to wait 6 or 8 years for another fucking Smash game to play as Inkling. Well, it's been 4 years since Smash 4, but it's been 2 years since Bayonetta and Corrin were added in to Smash 4. 2 years since then, and we're getting basically 2 years since Smash 4 has been dead, and we're getting a sequel. Like, guys, don't doubt Sakurai, okay? Don't doubt Sakurai. Sakurai is someone who just he goes all out. He does these things so well. He makes these games the best, okay? So Smash 4, yes, had some hiccups, and it might have seemed weird at the time, but I had no doubt that Sakurai had something planned. I was going to be willing to wait for another Smash game, but this is so good. Actually getting a brand new Smash game. You notice how no one's debating if this is a port or not anymore? No one is debating if this is a port or not. At this point in time, with all of these new fucking characters, there's like over 20 characters that weren't in Smash 4 if you count all the fucking returning characters from Melee and Brawl, plus all the newcomers now and the Echo Fighters. There's like fucking over 20 goddamn characters that weren't in Smash 4, right? This is a new game, guys. This is a new fucking game. There's so much more content added in this time. You can, and there's stages taken out of the Wii U version, as well as all of these fucking returning stages. Guys, this is a new fucking game. No one's debating if this is a port or not anymore. Like, you guys gotta stop doubting Sakurai so much. And I'm not saying this because I am a huge fanboy of Sakurai, because I played Kirby before Smash, and that was one of my favorite games back when I was a kid. And it's like every game Sakurai makes is fucking gold, man. Like, yes, I'm a fanboy, but like, I have my reasons. I have legitimately good reasons. You shouldn't doubt just for the sake of doubt. You should analyze the fucking facts. When you analyze the goddamn facts about Sakurai, this man's a goddamn genius, okay? He knows what he's doing. And I like Fire Emblem, he likes Fire Emblem, so like, I'm not mad about the Fire Emblem shit. But other people are, and it just goes, I just want people to know that you're getting mad for the wrong reasons, because the sword user thing happened gradually and slowly over time, and it was all with DLC in Smash 4. Okay, because Lucina was a clone of Marth, and no one cared because it was fine to have two versions of the same character, especially because one was a female. Lucina is the only like warrior princess in the entire game. Like, there's princesses in Smash 4, but Lucina fits in this very important niche category for female gamers and girls to look up to. And that's not even the reason why she got put in. She got put in because she's popular and beloved. People really liked her in Fire Emblem Awakening, and I like her in Fire Emblem Awakening too. She's fucking awesome. And she pretended to be Marth in the beginning of the game. So it made sense. Like, it actually made sense to put her in the game as an alt costume for Marth, but if they would have done that, then she would have had all of his like idol poses and taunts. Yes, they could give her different voice dialogue, but all her victory animations and taunts would have been the same as Marth's. And so I think Sakurai decided, well, we already made the character model. It won't hurt anything to just put her in the game. So they did. They just fucking put her in the game. And I think it was a fine decision. It's fine. Then the DLC happened. Like, it's not like Smash 4 came with 6 characters included, you know? It just sort of happened that way. And one of those characters was Roy, and he was a past game character. He would have been added in Smash Ultimate either way. Like, there's no way around it. He would have been brought back in Smash Ultimate if he wasn't brought back in Smash 4. There's absolutely no reason to complain about these characters. And when it comes to Chrom, it's really the same situation as Lucina. He's a fucking Echo. Why? You should not be mad about an Echo, okay? Because Echoes don't take any time to make. Like, there's already a character model for Chrom. They had a character model for Chrom that they made in Smash 4 because he's a part of Robin's Final Smash. Like, he already was there. All they had to do was give him the moveset, which took 0 time to develop because all they did was took Roy's moveset and gave it to him. They took some time to make his poses, some time to make his taunts, his voice dialogues, sometimes to make his color schemes, because he had to have 7 more colors added. And they gave him a unique Final Smash, and they changed his up special. Chrom probably took 1 week to make, if that. He probably took 3 days to make. If they spent the entire day working on Chrom, they would have got the whole thing done 1 day. I'm saying they probably took 3 days to make fucking Chrom as a side project. It's that easy to make a fucking Echo, guys. So you can get mad. Like, I'm not saying you can't get mad, but like, I am calling you stupid if you're getting mad. Like, you are stupid if you're mad about Chrom. Again, I know a lot of people who make Fire Emblem jokes are actually being ironic and being funny. and some of them actually make me laugh. There's a Fire Emblem Echo joke where it's like, if you want, you can stack the characters, and it had like Marth and then Lucina and then Roy, then Chrom all stacked on one character. That's kind of funny to me because Roy started out as an Echo in Melee. And then I saw one that had Ike, Robin, and Corrin also all stacked, like all fucking 7 Fire Emblem characters all stacked on one Echo. And it's like, okay, that's ridiculous because Ike doesn't even play like that. But it's really funny is that a lot of the memes, I see memes where people are actually unironically hating on Chrom's edition. And some of my favorite ones are the ones where they say he's an Ike Echo. He's an Echo of Ike, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like so fucked up. It's like the people who hate this don't even realize they don't even know what they're talking about. Like, they don't even know who he's an echo of. They think a lot of us thought he was going to be an echo of Ike because Ike had a color scheme for Chrom in Smash 4 and in the Palutena's guideline they straight up say like they Palutena and Chrom are talking, and a character I don't think I think it was the other character. I think her name's Vivi or something. The blonde haired chick from Kid Icarus. She says that Chrom would play too similar to Ike if Chrom was in the game. So they basically said like because Ike's back, Chrom is not in the game, and it's so funny because it's like, well, now we have echoes. So in Smash Ultimate, there's a more focus of it on echoes, and because there's more focus on echoes, that means Chrom's perfect. But they didn't make Chrom an echo of Ike. They made Chrom an echo of Roy, but gave him a very similar up B to Ike because that's what Chrom's supposed to do. That's his Aether attack. That's Chrom's attack. In fact, Lucina does that in Fire Emblem Awakening as well. In Fire Emblem Awakening, they both do that somersault attack. And if you play Fire Emblem Warriors, you'll see you'll see Marth and Lucina both do that somersault attack in Fire Emblem Warriors. You know, they both have that attack. So to me, it's like they didn't have to give that attack to Chrom, but it's a nice touch and it makes him a little bit more unique. It makes him more unique compared to all the other Fire Emblem characters. So, I mean, it's like even Chrom is almost a semi-clone, but it's like he's definitely an echo of Roy. His A attacks are like the same as Roy's, and his B attacks are kind of different. He doesn't have the fire effects, so I'm not sure how it's all gonna work. So basically, Chrom is like actually a pretty unique echo fighter, and I'm pretty happy with it. But again, like if you don't want Chrom, just turn on the mode that makes the echoes are not on the same screen, that make so echoes are on the same character slot. I know some people probably wish they could pick and choose, but in when Smash 4 came out, I was sad I couldn't turn off Shulk, and I kind of wanted to turn off Rosalina as well. I didn't want anyone to ever play as them. I'm just like, these characters are fucking gay. Fuck these characters. Like, turn these characters off. But I'm glad they whatever. I'm glad they have this option now for echoes. Because there's no reason to be salty or butthurt about it. Yes, they'll still appear in the game, but like, who cares? Like, they're just fight them as you would that other character. Though Dark Samus might potentially play differently, and that's kind of exciting. I like the idea of that echoes have like one or two unique differences that actually changes up their strategy, and then you get to pick which one you prefer based on how your playstyle, or possibly based on just the character you like more. I've always been good with Marth, and I noticed I'm a lot better with Lucina because I don't like trying to go for the tipper. Sometimes I can't always nail the tip. Sometimes I just have to go with just hitting someone, and the tip would do more damage. But with Lucina, I don't have to worry about that. Lucina is like, I just have to hit them, so I kind of like Lucina more. But I also like Lucina more from her game. So it worked out for me. Because I would probably pick the character I just play better as. But, when it comes to Samus and Dark Samus, I'm very interested to try both. I like Pit more than Dark Pit. I like Mario more than Dr. Mario. I'm very curious to try a lot of these echoes and see who I like more. But considering I like Lucina and Chrom already from Fire Emblem Awakening, I'm very excited to try out Chrom. I like Roy a lot. Actually, I like playing as Roy a lot. Lucina's still my favorite of the Fire Emblem characters, and then probably Ike after. But I'm just excited to play all these characters. It's just fun, and it's just added content. There's no reason to be upset, especially now that you've got 2 new characters from Metroid. You got 2 fucking characters from Metroid, right? Yes, there's still more Fire Emblem characters. But goddamn, you got Dark Samus and Ridley. Like, you should be excited and happy. I'm excited and happy about them. I don't know Dark Samus that well, but I'm very happy She looks amazing. It makes perfect sense to be in the game as an Echo, and the origin of the character is fucking fascinating. So like having that as a character is significant and cool. And then combined with Ridley, like Ridley, I know Ridley because I played Super Metroid and I've played Metroid games with Ridley in it, so I'm very happy about Ridley. Ridley, that's fucking cool. So I'm very happy about that. And then we also got King K. Rool, and guys, I'm telling you, I bet you Dixie's coming too. I bet you Dixie's coming. After seeing Crom, my ideas on Echo Fighters have really changed. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of like Dixie could easily be an echo of Diddy, and Shadow could easily be an echo of Sonic, and Isabelle could easily be an echo of Villager, and I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. I'm pretty sure it's all gonna fucking happen, guys. I think this is the smash we get Dixie Kong. Just the fact that King K. Rool's in the game at all means that Sakurai had to spend some time looking back at Donkey Kong Country, and Dixie's in two of those games, you know, and she's an important part of Donkey Kong's history. She's in Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze. She's not in Returns. I'm sorry. She's not in Returns, but Tropical Freeze is the sequel to Returns. They're in the same family of games. But so, like, she's in Tropical Freeze. So, like, she's an important character to Donkey Kong. I think the fact she's in Tropical Freeze and King K. Rool isn't says a lot about her and how important she is to Donkey Kong. So, not to mention, Diddy Kong always has a color swap that is a tribute to Dixie Kong. Diddy Kong always has this costume that makes his fur lighter brown, gives him pink clothes, and his hair almost looks like yellowish, actually, now that I think about it, because it's supposed to be like her ponytail. So, like, we could get Dixie Kong. And if you get two new reps from Donkey Kong and two new reps from Metroid, there's really no reason to be upset, guys. Really no reason to be upset at all. Like, don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on other people getting something that you don't get. Focus on being happy about the game, the gameplay changes. I know for a fact a lot of people who love Donkey Kong and Metroid don't even play as Samus or Donkey Kong or even Diddy Kong for that matter. So, like, it's kind of like disingenuous, these people who just want characters from the games they like and they have no intentions of ever playing as them. Like, I bet you a lot of people who wanted King K. Rool are not going to play as King K. Rool, but they just want him to be there. They just want him to be in the game, which is, I'm fine with it because I think he's turning out to look kind of cool, and I like the idea of having more villain characters to fight. And I don't care if characters are put in that I don't particularly like, because it's just more for the game to evolve and more different features and more it's just more evolution for the gameplay and changing up to the meta and more characters to fight. You know, even if I don't want to play as that character, it's more characters for me to fight. So I like King K. Rool. I like Donkey Kong Country a lot. I love Donkey Kong Country. So I didn't really care about King K. Rool because I was like, that he's not the reason why I like those games. But like, I don't think he's nearly as iconic or cool as like a boss villain like Bowser or Ganon. But I'm happy he's in the game. You know, I even think DDD is more important than him. You know, I think King K. Rool being the last big villain announced. I think he will be the last big villain announced because they showed in the Donkey Kong trailer, or in the King K. Rool trailer, they showed all these villains from all the different characters in Smash, and then they showed King K. Rool. I don't think they would have done that if he was the second to last big villain announced. Like, for example, I don't think Eggman will be from Sonic will be announced. I don't think that one of the villains from Fire Emblem is going to be announced. I don't think. Trying to think of like some of the big properties. Like, I don't think Mr. Perfect from Punch Out will be announced. If they did, though, they better give him a skin that makes him look like Mike Tyson. But I don't think they're going to add that. You know, I don't think they're going to add in any other Punch Out characters or any other big antagonist villain character. I don't think they're going to be added in. However, it would be cool to see Waluigi like crawl his way out of the rubble or something. Like, that'd be really cool if like Waluigi's like, I'm a villain too, haha. Like, there's all these villains being added in. I think it's a good idea. I would like to see Waluigi, especially because I'm pretty sure Shadow will be added in. So yeah, but I don't think they're going to add in any other big villain. I think King K. Rool is the last villain to be added in. And I think that is fitting for him because I think he's by far, of all the original Smash game characters, he's by far the like. They didn't show Pikachu fighting Mewtwo in the little cinematic for King K. Rool, but most people consider Mewtwo to be the villain of like the Pokemon. So like, not like that he's like the main big baddie or anything, but he is someone who started out on the dark alignment side, who he became good in the movies and stuff, but basically in the anime he starts out evil, and he is like the ultimate challenge in Pokemon Red and Blue. He's like the final guy you have to catch because he's so hard to catch, I guess, and he's like such a legend. He's number 151 out of 150. You know, he's a god. He's legendary for a reason. Um, Not to mention, not to say he's a god as in he's the god of that world, because there's multiple gods in Pokemon, but he is on that level of power. He is extremely powerful. Anyway, so either way, of all the original 8 characters, like all of their villains are in the game besides Yoshi. But Yoshi doesn't have a villain, but Yoshi's villain is Bowser and Bowser Jr. No, I think it's Baby Bowser instead of Bowser Jr. I can't always keep up track of all the weird Bowsers there are. But either way, Yoshi's villain is basically just Bowser. So that's fine. But like they didn't but like what I'm trying to say is, of all the original 8 characters, they all have some villain or anti-hero style character in their game. And um, King K. Rool is the last one to be added in, and I think that's fitting because he really is that unpopular. Or he's just not that iconic. I think he's when I think of Donkey Kong, I barely ever think about King K. Rool. He's just not someone that comes to mind when I think about Donkey Kong. I think that's the reason why he wasn't added in Smash 4. I think that's the reason why he wasn't in Brawl. But for Ultimate, if Bowser Jr. can be in the game, and if Shulk can be in the game, then I don't see why we can't have this motherfucker, K. Rool. I also don't see why we can't have Waluigi, but the thing is about Daisy is at least she's an Echo, so it's like that makes sense for why Daisy's in the game. With Waluigi, you could not make him an echo of Luigi. You can't make him an echo of Wario. You have to make him his own unique character. But I think it could happen. But considering that they probably are going to add a new Mario character with Geno, it's like, though I guess Geno technically is a Square Enix character, so he might have, his logo might be from Super Mario RPG, like the sword or something, instead of being from, like a mushroom like Mario. Either way, it doesn't fucking matter to me. It really doesn't matter if he's considered a Mario character or not. Either way, as long as he's in the game, I'll be happy. And because Geno will be added, and we already have Daisy, that would be 3 new Mario characters if they do Waluigi. There's so many. I think there's like over 10 if everything happens like the fans want. So not that Mario shouldn't have that many characters. I mean, Mario is the most important Nintendo franchise, but it's just stupid when people complain about Fire Emblem having too many reps, and it's like, actually, Fire Emblem has a lot of characters. Every game is a new character. Every new Donkey Kong game, it's just about Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. Like, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze wasn't out by the time that Smash 4 came out, and all the only characters in Donkey Kong Returns was Donkey Kong and Diddy. In fact, King K. Rool isn't even in Returns or Tropical Freeze. So it's like, no wonder they don't have any new characters to put in, Same with like Metroid. Like, there wasn't even any real Metroid games that came out. So like, what if they already knew they didn't want to put in Ridley? Like, there was no character that would really make sense to throw in, so they just didn't throw anyone in, And now they're kind of going back and throwing in characters that they just like, trying to like even things out. And at this point, we've had like the most iconic Nintendo characters already put in Smash 4, so it's like, the reason why there's so many Fire Emblem characters is because there's just a bunch of characters in that franchise already. There's a fucking shit ton, and there's new protagonists to every game, and there's not new protagonists and not new like characters that would work well in every new Donkey Kong game and every new Metroid game. It's kind of like people are kind of going back and forth if they want Bandana D or not in Smash 4 or in Smash Ultimate. And I'm not exactly sold. I don't know if I want Bandana D or not either. I don't think I wouldn't be mad if I saw it, but I will. And I do want to clarify, the amiibo thing is not It's not proof. The guy who found the data on the amiibo for him and Daisy already said it's not really Smash related. So people are kind of taking that out of context. So no, it's not. That doesn't prove anything about Waddle Dee. But either way, um, Waddle Dee, um, I wouldn't be mad if I saw him. But like again, it's like what characters from Kirby would really work in Smash? You know, because the most iconic characters from Kirby are in Smash already. You know, so again, it's like what characters do you guys want? You know, Fire Emblem has all these iconic characters. Every new game, Awakening did really well. Like I don't know what to tell you guys. Awakening saved the franchise. Fire Emblem was about to be like, kind of Nintendo wasn't going to give a shit about it because it was doing poorly, and Awakening did so well. Awakening also contributed to the sales of 3DSs. Like Awakening is a huge deal, and Iwata talked about Awakening in multiple interviews, saying like Awakening kind of was like the go-to classic for the 3DS, and he even said like the Wii U needs a game like Fire Emblem Awakening that will get people to buy 3DSs and get people to buy Wii U's and get people to play more Wii U games. You know, because once Awakening came out, it seemed like sales of everything went up, and that's how important Awakening is to Nintendo. That's how important Awakening is to Fire Emblem. So like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, it nothing really doesn't make sense. Everything makes sense. The amount of characters from Fire Emblem actually does make sense. I just don't know what to tell you guys. Like, Pokemon and Fire Emblem are going to have a lot of characters. It's just Pokemon's all very popular. Pokemon's probably Nintendo's third most popular franchise. In fact, it might even be more popular than Zelda at this point. I just wouldn't say it's more popular than Mario, but like everyone knows Pokemon, especially now Pokemon Go's out. So it is funny though with this Smash. A lot of the things we always talk about, like, oh, there's gonna be a new Fire Emblem character, there's gonna be a new Pokemon character. There might not be a new Pokemon or a new Fire Emblem character this time. You know, there really might not be. So either way, though, there is hope because Decidueye was not added in as a Pokemon in the Pokemon. I was really looking for that to see if one of the evolutions of Decidueye was in the Pokemon for this last direct, and not yet. So we'll still see what happens. But either way, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna let you guys figure it out. That's all I have to say about Fire Emblem characters, and I'm very excited about Chrom. I'm very happy about the representation for Awakening, and I highly doubt we'll get a new Fire Emblem character because the Fire Emblem game that came out after Fates was a remake, and it was on 3DS after the Switch already came out. So it's like no one cares. And the new Fire Emblem game, we don't know shit about the characters, and they don't even look that cool. Like, they don't look that iconic, and the battle system looks a lot different. It looks like you actually command armies. Like, you don't actually just have one guy fight one guy. It's like they're all mini sections of this huge battalion. So like, I don't think there's going to be a character for the new Fire Emblem, not even as DLC. It just doesn't lend itself to Smash at all. So Chrom is probably the only thing we're going to get, and so don't get upset. Don't get upset about that. So anyway, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.